Hi everyone. If you're back again, you may have watched my last video on how overtaxed and overwhelmed the death system in Los Angeles is right now. From the hospital morgues, to the coroners, to removal drivers, to funeral homes, to crematories, to cemeteries. Is it getting any better? Is the nightmare ending? Has your last video had any effect? Well,
hospitalizations are on the decline.
The chance for another surge in California is real.
Less than 3% of the population has been fully vaccinated.
The supply of COVID vaccine doses allotted to LA County for use is in extremely short supply.
Get as many people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can.
We can't move fast enough.
Now, by pure numbers, daily new cases are falling, and new hospitalization numbers are falling. But there is a lag time from new cases to death. So deaths are still, as health officials have said, uncomfortably high. Yes, uncomfortably high. That is certainly one way of putting it. Also, we don't know if cases are going to spike again after Super Bowl parties, Valentine's Day, and with the possibility of new Southern California variants because, of course. And even when we get to less people dying, which is my greatest hope, our death care systems are still backed up after almost 2 months of this relentless onslaught, backed up deeply, profoundly. So many people still can't afford these funeral bills and have to wait a month to multiple months for burial. We can't even schedule a viewing or a witness cremation until the end of March. There are just too many people that need them. On one hand, having this platform gives me the ability to talk to various government officials, California Emergency Management, DMORT, the media. But the most disheartening part of the last 2 weeks has been that even with more information from the horse's mouth, I wouldn't have changed a single thing that I said in my last video. My conclusions remain the same. These folks seem well-intentioned, but simultaneously very well aware that funeral homes need help and that families need help. They believe that the biggest private funeral homes will find a way to bring in huge refrigerated trucks to cover their absent butts and take in all the bodies, and if that means thousands of extra dollars in costs per family, so be it. More than one person in power has suggested to me and to the owner of my crematory that this is a business opportunity, and we have a choice whether or not we want to step up and make the money, like we're selling fidget spinners in the spring of 2017. On a very personal level, I am proud of the way that we have handled this. The way we've worked with our crematory and cemeteries, obtained more storage, built relationships with people in the hospitals, brought new people onto our team, created new systems for having 5 times the normal amount of families in our care. And that's only 5 times because we've had to turn half of the people who need us away, which remains crushing. But we've met the moment as best as we can every day, while trying to keep everything professional, compassionate, spirits up. But at the same time, once again, there are people out there whose actual expertise and job this is, mass fatality experts. Not me, I'm now just an unexpected enthusiast. Didn't choose this hobby, it chose me. And because of my first video, I've been able to hear from these actual experts who remind us that there are plans in place for events like this, and how they have tried to set these plans in motion, and how they have tried to work with the government, and how they have been ignored. About a week ago, I found this article in the LA Times from 2005, that's 16 years ago, about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. They were unprepared for that disaster in so many ways, as we all remember, but, quote, dealing with mass casualties was one thing for which state and federal agencies had a fully developed plan. There was just one problem. When the storm struck, it turned out that no one could agree on who should be performing the most basic task of all, collecting the bodies. The article goes on to predict, if that first part wasn't chilling enough, that having plans in place at the federal and state level for mass death may, quote, lull officials into a false sense of security and lead to even more shocking failures. The plans don't help you if you don't do the plan. Or admit that you need to do the plan because you don't want to admit that you're the kind of place that needs the plan. Bo from the 5th column made a short video. I very much appreciate him calling attention to what's happening, and he said something that I had been thinking, but I didn't want to fully accept, which is that the reason that the state of California doesn't want to step in here or ask for help and assistance from the federal government is, quote, anybody who had the authority to get the ball rolling on this had the responsibility to mitigate it. So it looks bad. It looks like they failed. Basically, it would embarrass them. I keep coming back to the thought. A week or so ago, we had 250 deaths from COVID in LA County on a typical day. For now, we've dipped under 200. If there was a single mass fatality incident, a horrible plane crash, for instance, with 250 deaths, the mass fatality experts and money and resources from the federal and state level are allowed to rush in and take action. But since this has been going on every day without stopping for the last 2 months, we're like lobsters in a pot, slowly boiling. We still need help, we're still overwhelmed. It's just easier to ignore. DMORT, I mentioned them earlier, that's Disaster Mortuary Operational Response Team, has come to LA since my video. And that's good. But once again, like New York in April, they're stationed at the coroner's office, not helping funeral homes or families. There is also a FEMA bill passed for $2 billion in funeral costs relief, which is a positive step.
When you suddenly lose a loved one, you're talking about an expense of $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. And then during COVID, families also are having to deal with having to pay for the storage of the bodies of their own loved ones. This is wrong.
I'm not going to disparage it. I just hope that access to those funeral funds, even if they come months after when they were really needed, will be easy to access and equitable, which has not always proven to be the case in times past. I saw many of you asking if this experience of all this death has altered my death positivity at all. And I think if anything, it's made it stronger. Death positivity has always been about the value of centering realistic conversations around death and dying in our culture. From the beginning of this pandemic, the one drum I've been beating is don't demonize the bodies themselves. And don't demonize the methods used to care for them during a disaster, like refrigerated storage, or the National Guard, or DMORT, or mobile crematories. If the public is made to be terrified of these methods by the media and social media, state and local governments will themselves be terrified of having to admit they need them, for fear of seeming unorganized and like a failure, which may lead to cover-ups. And not to wear my tinfoil hat here, but from the people I've talked to and what I've seen, this is very much what I suspect is happening. How am I doing? Thank you for asking. Many of the responses to the last video were, you seem angry, tired, sad. And I could see why you would think that, but the truth is, yes, all of those, in excess. I probably seem a little better today because not only are things a little less chaotic because of the systems we put into place at our funeral home, but because humans can weirdly get used to almost anything. But I am fine, I am safe. It's what's happening to the people who are dying and their families that keeps me so mad. From you, all I've seen is so much kindness towards them, and to me, and to my team, and anger at the situation, all of which I really appreciate. You have good hearts. I've always said it, deathlings are good people. Just real good people. And to those of you saying I am part of an elaborate conspiracy tricking the public into believing a fake pandemic is real, I need you to listen to me when I tell you I don't have time for that. The next video will be one that we've been working on for like 2 months. It's one of those big historical stories, much more of what you're used to from us. I would apologize for not having that out sooner, but I think you get it. We're busy over here, Jan. Thank you again, stay safe, and be safe.